Good morning, disc golf fans. It is a sunny, calmer morning here in Leicester, Massachusetts. It's Championship Sunday at Maple Hill, the MVP Open presented by OTB. It's Tournament Central time. Brian Earhart, Nate Perkins talking action once again. Nate, yesterday was one of the more unpredictable days of disc golf that we've potentially ever seen.
Yeah, it was a wild day out here at Maple. I mean, the women went off in the morning and it was already above 20 miles per hour. It started to get gusts upwards of 30 for them. And honestly, some of the most impressive scores that I can remember this season are these athletes that found their way under par in those conditions, because we all know how difficult it is to throw the disc in those conditions, and let alone to get a putt to stick in the headwind up on top of the hill. So those scores, like those ratings, don't really do those rounds justice. I mean, the field averaged well over 5 over par yesterday. So Maple was playing tough, and you know, there's a general just sense of, like, we're near the end of the season and you can kind of feel people are tired. Like, we've crossed the country a couple times. Some people have gone all the way to Europe. Like, we're tired, you know, that these players are being pushed up against the wall, and now it's time to dig deep.
Well, somebody who beat the entire field average by 8 strokes, Scoggins, shot a 3 under par yesterday. And this is a 3 under par after holding her arm in pain after every backhand that she threw. And she didn't shy away from it. She is grinding her way to victory. Nate, she's 30 for 35 from circle 1. And we've had close to 30-mile-an-hour winds for the past 2 rounds. What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, Owen's putter has been the tool that has carried her forward all season, but that is an impressive stat for sure. Brian, just to give you guys an idea of how difficult the driving is here at Maple Hill, Owen is leading this tournament. She is 13 of 54 circle 1 in regulation. I mean, that's a stat that you're going to see for someone that's outside of the cash line typically for the FPO division. And here she is on the 14th, pushing that one up against the wall. And then what does she hear, Brian?
Nate, there's a huge gallery on 14, and all of them are yelling, "Run it, Owen, run it, Owen." And she turns to them, smiles, and says, "I got you." Jams the putt right in everybody's face. She loves playing out here at Maple Hill. This is probably the perfect spot for Owen Scoggins, who gets so fired up playing in front of the crowd. She is talking to them on literally every single hole. It's almost like she's doing a stand-up routine, Nate. She has them in the palm of her hand right now. We did talk to her on in the Sap House, actually, after her round yesterday. Let's take a listen to what she had to say. So I saw you rubbing your arm throughout the entire round today, but you threw some really solid backhand shots. Hole number 14, you got a great birdie from throwing a backhand. How do you convince yourself to commit fully even though you know it's painful?
Just gonna go through it. I have no choice. I signed myself in this situation. Just take the painkiller, you call, and then, you know, just go for it. Like, I know it doesn't matter. Even I lie down on the bed, it's just gonna keep hurting me. I love disc golf so much, so I'm just gonna play through the hurt. Yeah.
Well, one more round tomorrow. You're tied for the lead. Are you gonna do anything different than you did today?
Depend on the wind tomorrow, because if the wind the same like today, I'm probably just gonna keep throwing the same disc. But if tomorrow the wind is wind down, I'll probably throw a different disc. So I have different kind of, depend on the windy or not windy days. Thank you, spotter. Yes.
Getting paid out by the spotters to go celebrate after a phenomenal round, putting her in a tie for the lead with Haley King, who has historically played very well here and has almost taken down victories here in the past. Nate, she's throwing the disc fantastic. Circle 1 in regulation, she's third place in Circle 2 in regulation, second place in fairway hits. She's only missed 4 Circle 1 putts on the week, 23 of 27. What is she going to have to do today to separate herself from not only Owen, but Kristin and Eveliina as well?
Well, I think we're seeing a new Haley King. I think after her bounce back, so holes 5, 6, and 7, she goes 6 over on those holes. She tripled hole 5, and it was during the middle of that triple bogey that we kind of saw the old Haley King, didn't we? For just a brief moment, the slouched shoulders, like it almost seemed like apathy was setting in, like she was out of it, and then doubles 6, and it really seems like we've got the old Haley King back, where she's just going to check out and not really put that effort in for the rest of the round. Takes a bogey on 7, but then hole 8, it's like it didn't matter anymore. She got herself right back in it. Birdie's 10, birdie's 12. Like, did you note that yesterday as well? That Haley just seemed to bounce back from that?
Yeah, I mean, when you get that kind of a number on 5, it feels so demoralizing. And for a second, I thought that maybe she was going to say, you know what, who cares? This is stupid. Playing these wins is stupid. I'm not going to play my hardest anymore. And it's funny, when you play your hardest out here at Maple Hill, you don't bite on every single shot. You have to stay focused and you have to stay resilient no matter what. You're not going to get perfect fairway hits every single time out here. Like we said, Owen has only hit 13 or I believe 15 fairway C1 regulation out of 54 holes, and she's in first place. You can't drive perfectly out here. She snapped back to focus. She let her skills do the talking. And on that stretch of 10 through 13, she scored. She did a great job. She had a couple little mishaps here and there, but she's still right in the mix. She was surprised that the +4 kept her in a tie for the lead, but it just goes to show you how tough it was actually playing yesterday. We also did do a nice interview with Haley yesterday after her round. Despite being a quick one, let's take a listen.
Tied for the lead, Haley King, one more round left tomorrow. You shot +4 on the day. It was pretty crazy conditions. Are you surprised that the +4 is keeping you in a tie for the lead?
Yeah, definitely.
Can you talk about the conditions out there and try to paint a picture for the people who weren't out here?
It was definitely hard to throw a disc, and it was hard to pot a disc, but the wind is just crazy. It's been a long time since I've played in anything like this, so it's a lot of fun, but definitely hard to read and throw well.
Is there anything you can even learn from playing in these conditions at all?
How to play DDO, that's the only advantage, I guess.
Anything different tomorrow, game plan-wise?
Nah.
Haley was absolutely ready to go home and prepare for another day on the disc golf course here at Maple Hill with prime conditions this morning. Kristin Tattar is in a position to chase down a victory, and it feels like a very foreign thing for all of us watching her throughout the course of the year. She has won so many events this season in completely commanding fashion. She's won tournaments looking like she hasn't had her best weekend, and she still wins by 5, 6, 7 strokes. Nate, do you think this could be an exciting final day for Kristin?
I think it's exciting for disc golf. I think it's much better for all the fans, and I think it's better for just the FPO division in general when it's a tight race. I mean, we all love seeing that dominant athlete arise in a sport, but we also like seeing those half court shots to tie the game up in the fourth quarter. So I'm very interested to see how Kristin bounces back from yesterday's 4 over, Brian, because she said it wasn't the win, that it was that she was broken out there on the course, and we really haven't heard her use that word maybe ever since her rise to the top. And go ahead.
Well, Nate, as she runs the putt here on hole number 8, Kristin is not playing her best golf. She's admitted that the conditions are not necessarily the reason why she's playing like this. And I think the honesty goes a long way. She's missed 9 Circle 1 putts. She's clearly very frustrated with the way that she's putting right now. And that's why she's not winning in commanding fashion. Normally she hits almost everything inside Circle 1. But the other thing that we have to note, she is the one leading the charge in C1 in regulation, Nate. And she has still missed 33 greens in regulation out of 54 holes. That's how challenging this course is to score on. And a lot of players are not making putts from Circle 2 because of the winds and how tough the greens are. So it's kind of a paradox. You can get into Circle 2 very often here, but making the Circle 2 putt or even attempting to run it is a challenge in and of itself. So Kristin's going to have to make some adjustments on a few holes. Hole 3 has been a challenge for her in the past at the top position. She's had a tough time on 13. She made the adjustment yesterday in the wind and actually clubbed down to a mid-range like we were talking about. Wind was a little wild yesterday, but I think it was a better play. I think she's not going to burn that over to the right this time. I think she is going to come into the day with a very fresh mindset and a new mindset, because how often does she have to chase down 2 leaders going into the final day? We did talk to Kristin after her effort yesterday. Let's take a listen.
Same question I asked Haley. You shot the +4 as well. Are you surprised that you're just a stroke off the lead after that day?
Yes. I mean, I wasn't expecting this. To be honest, I feel like the wind wasn't as big of a factor. At least for me, it didn't really bother me that much, but just, I don't know, just a couple of holes broke me, I would say. And yeah, but right now I'm happy I'm still in the mix. It's unexpected.
Well, when you say broke me, was it because of maybe decision-making errors or just like tough breaks? What happened?
I don't know. I mean, on the island hole, I feel like I threw the shot like I wanted to, got a tree kick, and went for it from the drop zone because I felt it was necessary, but ended up with a 5. It could have been like yesterday, it was a 2. So yeah, it was just tough. The course is playing tough for everyone, so I don't feel like I have to change anything. Just have to hit the lines and make the putts.
Well, right behind the top 3 in this event is Eveliina Salonen. We haven't talked about her as much, but she's still right in the mix to take down a victory this week. Nate, she's driving the disc phenomenally well, just like every single event that we talk about here. She's first place C2 in regulation, second place C1 regulation. She's first place in fairway hits at 70%. She's missed less Circle 1 putts than Kristin Tattar this tournament. Nate, what is she going to have to do to take down a victory here?
Well, I think it's been over 3 years since we can say that she's missed less Circle 1 putts than Kristin Tattar. So, I mean, her putt is certainly back. I think we can say that with confidence now. And she's going to have to clean things up on the front. That's where things are changing. I mean, that's where you can birdie or bogey every hole. The wind is coming out of the west today, so those holes up on the hill are going to be playing in a much different wind, and the holes on the front are going to be a little bit more protected, and that's going to be the place that you need to score, and that's where Eveliina has struggled so far this event. So I think early is where we're going to see Eveliina potentially chase these leaders down.
Well, here's the thing. When you look at the putting stroke in general, just the structure of her putting stroke, the trajectory of how the disc comes out of her hand, that is not well suited for 30-mile-an-hour winds. It comes out with a lot of wobble. It comes out with just almost her willing the disc into the basket at this point, which at this point is totally fine. Now that the conditions are calmed down, she has way more of an advantage than she did yesterday. So on those tough par 3s, not only is she going to have a better opportunity to get inside Circle 1, she's not going to have to be shaking in her knees at a bullseye putt, which everybody had to do yesterday. But when you look at Kristin Tattar's putt, just the structure of it, way more spin, way flatter, and way cleaner release. So Kristin could have made a lot more putts yesterday. So I think for Eveliina, show up, do your thing. You don't have to do some of the crazy mental math that everyone had to do yesterday. We have 4 players that can easily take down the victory here today in the final playoff event of the year. We are going to take a commercial break here on the Disc Golf Network. On the other side, Holly Finley is having a career weekend as well, and she is right in the mix.
Whether I'm on the course or behind the camera, there's one thing driving me forward: the shot. The shot that no one else thinks about or would even dare to try. The shot that people will remember, that tells a story. For me, that's what disc golf's all about. Introducing the time lapse, the first 12-speed featuring gyro overmold technology, and the first disc in the Simon line. Coming soon.
A round of disc golf can be long, and if you're playing in a tournament, it can feel like a marathon. This can leave you physically and mentally fatigued by the end when your shots matter most. With space for your discs, water, and even a place to sit, a cart enables you to bring what you need, helping you feel more prepared and energized without carrying the extra weight. This can help you maintain your edge and save you strokes through every round.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. Today, the world is in the palm of your hand. Or at least this can is. For over 100 years, Barbasol, it's a can of can-do.
Welcome back. The MVP Open is happening this week on the Disc Golf Network, and if you're not already subscribed to DGN, you can subscribe today and use the code Tournament Central, all one word, at checkout for a free month subscription. Scan the QR code or hit the link in the YouTube description to subscribe today to watch the rest of the disc golf season live as it unfolds. We have the Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship, we have the USDGC, we have the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, and coming up next week in Burlington, North Carolina, is the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championship. I'm here with PDGA's Rebecca Duffy. Rebecca, over 300 players. It's going to be an incredible event out there in Burlington. But first off, let's talk about the MVP Open this morning. You're marshalling out there. What are you noticing?
Well, I had the opportunity to marshal the lead card today, and I am so excited to see this lead card just battle it out. But not only lead card, chase card. Holly is playing a great game. But don't count Kristin out to win this because she's had 3 comeback wins and 2 of them have been this year.
Well, they're all going next week to Burlington to chase down another major title. Kristin Tattar hopefully taking down a Grand Slam title for the first time ever in the FPO division. You have so much going on at this event, and something special is happening with PDGA Radio. Can you enlighten us on that?
Yes, Jennifer Allen and I are hosting the Pioneer Women's Panel, and these Pioneer women are the women who have laid out the sport so people like me can work in the sport today, and it's about time that we get to talk with them and learn the history. And we have PDJ numbers from 15 and up. I mean, these women are amazing. So you'll be able to catch that on PDJ Radio and the Good Times Hour with Mace Man and Mr. B afterwards.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Tune in. Make sure to subscribe to the Disc Golf Network so you can watch all the action in Burlington and check out PDGA Radio as well. With that said, like Rebecca said, Holly Finley is battling for the Tour Championship right now, and she shot a great round yesterday. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
It's incredibly windy. It reminds me of a mini version of the 2012 Glassblown Open, where the wind is every direction at once, and whatever plan that you had is, might be altered on every single hole. So it's a little intimidating at times, but also exciting because, you're just like, well, this disc holds up in other winds, so I'm going to send it and see what happens. I did that a lot today, and then, oh, surprise, it was a great shot. So it was a lot of just trust the disc and send it, and then, that was a good shot. So I'm happy I believed in the equipment because I used to throw lightweight discs, and I try to hyzer flip stuff like, if I hyzer it enough in the 40-mile-an-hour winds, it'll work. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. So I've chosen the proper equipment these days, and that makes a huge difference. So thanks, Innova. I like the under par, but the accomplishment part for me was not getting emotional when there was a mistake. I'm very emotional. If I make a mistake, I parked this in practice. Why am I not up there at the bullseye? And then sometimes it can snowball. So I tried to make sure that I would find pleasure and joy in the small accomplishments along the course. Like, I hit the fairway perfectly right in the center. My upshot wasn't that great, but I'm happy that I hit the fairway in this kind of wind. So just finding the positives along the way and not letting anything negative overtake my mental state was a big push forward today.
You're just 4 back of the lead, so
really?
Good luck in that.
I didn't look at the scores yet.
Good luck in that final round, Holly.
Thank you.
just pure joy coming out of Holly Finley. Nate, so many players are starting to really figure out the mentality that it takes to continue being successful on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Holly clearly showcasing some serious wisdom, saying that she needs to focus more on celebrating the tiny things in this game. And I think once you accept that many mistakes happen out here, the game gets a lot easier. You talked to Holly, you interviewed her, you watched her. What are you picking up? What are her chances today? She's just 4 off the lead.
Yeah, I mean, she's really letting us in the mind there, and you're right. I feel like, she's just so well-spoken, and the way that she's thinking about the game, it was a surprise to me. It doesn't feel like she has a lot of tension when she's playing, and she was on the outside looking in, Brian. She was 21st in the tour standings coming into the weekend, and she had to play really well. Right now, she's sitting in 5th place in the tournament. If she finishes inside the top 10, she's going to finish at that 17th position and guarantee herself a spot at Nevin. And we heard her in her interview 2 days ago that she lives right down the street from Nevin, and it would be devastating if she didn't make it. So the fact that she had the pressure to have one of her best finishes of the year just to make one of the last 2 spots, and she's actually doing it, I mean, it's one of the stories of the season.
Well, I think she's taking the knowledge that she's gained from playing Nevin so many times and using it out here on some of the holes that are scoring so difficult. Let's take a look at the tour standings right now. A lot of players up here at the top, very safely in the Tour Championship, and all the typical suspects. As we go down, now we're starting to see some players fighting for their lives. Juliana Korver, I think it's going to work very well for her. That trip up to Prince Edward Island is looking like it's going to pay off. Lisa Fakis on the 18th spot. Nate, what are you seeing?
Well, if Eveliina Salonen pulls out a win here, she's going to guarantee herself a spot in the finals with that exemption for winning an Elite Series or a playoff, and that's going to bump Lisa Fakis out of it. That will mean only 17 people qualify for the finals. Now, we're still wondering what is going to happen with Paige Pierce, because she's qualified with that exemption, so she's taking it from 20 to 19, and she's not going to play, we don't think. So we're wondering if Korver is going to slide into that 19th spot if Paige Pierce, declines her spot. Still wondering how that's going to go. Of course, we got Valerie Montejano with the exemption as well. And it's 3 people basically going for 2 spots, Brian.
It is shaping up to be an extremely exciting day out here, Championship Sunday at Maple Hill. And then not only are we having FPO this morning, but MPO in this afternoon is shaping up to be one of the more unpredictable Championship Sundays that we've seen all season long. Nate, what do we make of this lead card?
Well, I think if you're a fan of the game and you're here on site at Maple Hill, or whether you're watching home at the Disc Golf Network, we've got star power for you. We've got a lot of it. And I actually had the pleasure of joining Simon at his house in Shrewsbury. It's just 20 minutes down the road, and got to go over there for some pizza and beer, and Eagle McMahon is staying over there as well. So these longtime friends, and the places that they've come from. I mean, I remember when Eagle McMahon wanted to be Simon Lizotte. He tried to model his form after him. He wanted to be like his buddy, and now Eagle's a major champion, and arguably has had more success in the sport than Simon. But of course, they're still longtime friends. And Eagle kind of let me in the mind a little bit. I typically don't like to, approach the player and bring up disc golf. I mean, how often do the fans want to talk disc? Like, just don't talk about it. We spend so much time talking about the game, and Eagle wanted to talk about it. He wanted to talk about the psychology, his approach. He's talking to a mental coach right now, Brian, once a week, and he said that has had a life-altering effect on him to talk to someone from that kind of sports psychology background to offer insight into what it takes to be a champion.
Eagle is another one of those players that if he gets a victory here, there's going to be a lot of people extremely excited. Simon Lizotte, the hometown hero, if he takes the back-to-back victory here, people are going to be excited. Another player that people have just been rooting to take down another victory is Calvin Heimberg. We are waiting for him to take down another big victory. He's still the #1 player on the tour right now, but has had kind of a dead zone in regards to taking down victories. He's been extremely consistent, but hasn't quite closed out these final rounds. Nate, the putter's not working for Calvin right now. Is that going to be okay, this final round? Is he going to have to shape up?
Well, it's 2 out of the 3 rounds where the putter wasn't hot. During that second round, the putter was scorching. So I think it's possible for him to find that putt. And I think that hearing him yesterday say that he's actually going to go do something about it, that he's actually going to go to the practice basket and work on it, I mean, it says a lot.
Goes to the basketball putt on 10 after just an absolute laser beam. To throw a worm burner on that hole 500 feet up the hill is just unheard of. I mean, Nate Sexton on the broadcast was losing his mind at the play on 10. Gets the birdie on 11 and 12. He's just playing solid golf out there, but imagine if the putter was working, Nate. Today is his chance to actually prove how his putter is actually feeling. He's not going to have to make as many wind read guesses out here as you do when the wind picks up to 20, 30 miles an hour. 10 to 15, I believe, is what the forecast has said. But we also have to talk about Ben Callaway. Nate, this is potentially the story of the entire weekend. This guy's playing some phenomenal disc golf, and his confidence is sky high right now.
Yeah, this shot here on 7, he's been going with the 7-speed, and he sped it up to the Predator yesterday and just throws a laser up the road there. And then look at this. This is mid-range, flipping it up into the wind. I mean, that's a 364-foot par 3 going mid-range over there. And they're not able to even get the hips into that throw. That's all upper body right there.
Look at this putt on 13, Nate, from down the hill. Ridiculous. Putter on 15. Goes high, lets the wind carry it down to the basket, no problem. Everybody else throwing mid-range on that hole. Ben is one of the elite players. And what's interesting is when he throws certain lines, multiple players on his card getting super excited. Real recognizes real, Nate. With that said, we have the FPO field about to go off to chase down another title here in the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We're going to wrap things up at Tournament Central. Brian Earhart, Nate Perkins, you're going to be seeing us all day, folks. We'll see you out there.
I'm super stoked about my new bag line. I'm actually still rocking the very first Voyager Pro I got when I joined MVP over 2.5 years ago, so I'm stoked to get some new bags and some personalized ones just for me. We got 3 awesome colorways picked out. The James Conrad World Champion patch right on the front is such a cool touch to me. It's kind of reminiscent of the artwork on the stock Nomad. It'll be an awesome chance for fans to support me and to rock some new colorways on the Voyager bags with this release.
What makes the Halal Guys so deliciously different? You might have heard of our famously long cart lines that NYC fans happily stand in. Today, with over 100 plus restaurants across the globe, we are your place to experience authentic American halal. Enjoy our delicious falafel, Euro sandwich, platters, and sides topped with our famously flavorful white and hot sauces. Order online today and taste how we make different so delicious. The Halal Guys, bringing something deliciously different to the table.